Now, I still want to talk about the mistake Moses made. But what if you've not even made mistakes at all? Then you don't even want to be in that situation where you make mistakes, where you make decisions that might stand in the way of your doing what it is that God has called you to do. Because even though God used Moses for what he intended for him to do, however, what God used him to do, he did it later than what God originally planned. Remember that when God gave Abraham the prophecy, God told Abraham that the children of Israel were going to be in Egypt for 400 years. However, when they were going to come out of Egypt, they came out 430 years, which means they spent 30 extra years that they were not meant to spend in Egypt. Why do you think that they spent those 30 extra years? It was because of Moses. Remember, God called Moses when he was 80, and this was at the 430th year. Moses had been born in the 350th year of the sojourn of Israel in Egypt, which means that 50 years before the children of Israel were meant to come out of Egypt originally, God had already sent their deliverer. And that in itself is a lesson. That is actually how God operates. Even when you are not cognizant of the timing of his prophecy, God himself is cognizant of it. Which then means that Moses was originally supposed to bring out the children of Israel when he was 50 years old, not when he was 80. Now, when he was 40, when you read the account in the book of Acts, so God began to prompt Moses when he was 40 that there's something about you. However, Moses misinterpreted that prompting, and that was why when he went and he saw the Egyptian, beating the Israelites, he mistakenly killed the Egyptian. Okay? And by so doing, he had to run away. And because he had to run away, he ended up, so what he was supposed to end up accomplishing when he was 50, which was going to be 10 years from that time, he ended up accomplishing it 40 years after that time. However, the children of Israel ended up staying 30 extra years in Egypt because Moses was not ready. So what does that tell you? Even though God will still use you for what he has ordained to use you for, your mistakes, your unpreparedness might actually affect the people whose destinies are tied to you.